I'm Kel.
And Chelle.
And we are so happy.
That you're here. Yeah, we are. What she said. You say it.
So happy that you are here. And Michelle's going to ask you a favor.
I'm going to ask you a favor. I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to ask you, pretty please, to go to our YouTube channel, which is called, appropriately enough, Candidly Speaking with Chelle Kelle, and please subscribe. We also have a Facebook page. We would love for you to like that and share that out with your friends. And thank you for watching. And if you would be so kind as to put where you're from in the comments, we would love to know that you're here. Or if you're watching the replay, which most people do, just put hashtag replay and where you are from, because we are so glad that you're here and we want to know that you're here. So thanks for doing that.
Yes. And let's see. I was going to add to that. But as I do once a show, I forgot what I was going to say. So I will move on to our sponsors. Today we are sponsored by Blue Sky Video Productions. Bruce Himmelblau is the man when it comes to producing shows. He makes Michelle and I look completely organized. Could you imagine if we did this show without Bruce?
It would not happen.
How do I turn this off?
A FaceTime between the two of us. Yeah.
Yes, it would. So Bruce is a live stream producer, and he's a YouTube strategist, and he can help you get your numbers going. So Bruce, thank you for what you do for us. And the other sponsor is Cards That Wow. When you send a card that I have handmade for you, it is custom branded. And when you send it to your client, Michelle, what will your clients say when they open the envelope?
Wow.
Exactly. So I think we lost Chelle. So I will talk about our guest. He is amazing. He has written this book called Selling by Serving. His name is Clancy Clark, and I can't wait to talk about him. So let's bring him up.
We are so happy to have Clancy Clark with us. He is an author. He's a speaker. He is a sales philosopher. I think he's probably just a philosopher in general. He's an outdoorsman. He loves dogs. He is just a really, really great guy. And I confessed to him earlier, I'm kind of a Clancy Clark fangirl. So we are so excited that you're here, Clancy. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. It's just wonderful. I just, I love the casual chat nature of what we're doing here. And thank you so much for having me.
As you can see, yes, casual should be our middle name. So
I love it.
I think it is.
It's candidly casually speaking. Yeah. So Clancy Clark, you are many, many things, my friend. Many, many things. So tell us, what is your favorite? What's your favorite thing that you are?
My favorite thing that I am is an adventurous lover of life. I happen to believe that the greatest quality that a human being can have is simply the ability to enjoy their life each and every day. And I've tried to do that. I've tried to follow inner direction my whole life. That's led me around the country and to different iterations of career. And I just see the whole thing as fun. And, I've always been willing to take the risk and not worry about stumbling or looking foolish or whatever, so many people get wrapped up in. So I think that's probably the favorite thing I am. And I'm highly enthusiastic. I've been accused of being that and sincere my entire life. And I think that those are fitting for me. I'm really excited about everything that I do, and including, there's nothing more that I'd rather be doing right now than being here with you two. And I just try and go at it that way. So I think that's it in a nutshell.
And you're a proponent of that you need to do the mastery and get to know the client. So you kind of took that from learning from that dog person.
Yeah, exactly. And I see so many salespeople that run in, and the first thing they want to do is say, hi, Robert, I'm here to introduce myself, to talk a little bit about my company and our products or services. And so what the client hears is me, my company, my products and services. And if you contrast that with, hi, Robert, I came here today to meet you. I want to begin to learn about you and your business and see if there might be some potential for a mutually beneficial business relationship. So then what the client hears is, I want to meet you. I'm here to learn. And sure, you'll have a chance to talk about your company and product services. It's just not the best first thing to attempt to do.
Exactly.
That time comes later. So yeah, the steps are engagement. Preparation. So we've got to be prepared before we go in. If we're going to look professional, then engagement. And that is that time when you first, connect with that prospect or that customer. And it sets the tone for everything you're doing. And that's where I feel coming in with the idea of making sure that it's all about them. Then rapport. You establish that rapport, just like Glenn did with the dog. You have to build that bond, gain the trust, and that takes time. Then there's a discovery process when you have to learn everything you have to learn so that you have a solution for a true need of the client. And then is the solution presentation, when you get your chance to really, show off your stuff. And then I eschew the term closing the deal because it implies something is finished, done. And to me, that's just the beginning. So I use the term gaining agreement. We're always gaining agreement on something. It doesn't have to be the sale. It could be gaining agreement on the next meeting. And you're going to read this article and I'm going to do some research for you. That's gaining agreement. We're strengthening the relationship and we're moving the process forward. And even when it is time to place an order, that's still gaining agreement because there's more to come after that. Mm-hmm. And then I put objections last because I feel if we do a really great job in all these first steps, objections don't have to happen. If they do, it's no big deal, but I don't assume that objections are going to be there before you can gain the agreement.
I love that. Love it.
Okay, let me ask you this. I love your approach. You are so genuine, so authentic, and you really do have that the servant attitude, the servant heart when you approach sales. Let me ask you what you think about this. There are so many methods and so much sales teaching out there, so much buzz about, and it is a buzzword, but I don't know what other word to use, but of giving value and of giving value before you ever get to, we don't pitch anymore, but can you talk about that? What do you think we need to offer up? Lots of stuff, lots of information, or lots of service first without asking for anything or without having anything that is generating revenue? I guess that's really my question. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I think it's as unique as each individual that we encounter. I talk in the book about in the chapter called "You're Never Working for Nothing." I talk about working for a client who's now probably my most appreciated client that I have and the most loyal client that I have. But I worked for him for 18 months without pay, doing the same services that I was doing for the dairy producers that pay me for what I do. Yeah. But this guy is such a gentleman and such an elite level dairy farmer that I wanted to be around him, and I wanted to be a part of his family and his business and his workers and just be there and help him. And about halfway through that process, he wanted to pay me as a consultant, and I realized what he wanted to do was kind of salve his conscience and pay me, and then still keep his current guy because he'd been with him for over 20 years. These are major decisions when they hire what I do and I still am doing that as a dairy nutritionist, and it's a big decision to switch. So this guy, I call him Ben in the book. That's not his real name, but I said, no, the day you pay me anything is the day that I become your nutritionist. And when he was ready, he announced to me on one of my days there, he said, come into the office after you're done. And he said, I'm ready to make the switch. I'm going to talk to my current nutritionist over the holidays, and I'll have you start in the first of the year. And I didn't know if he'd ever hire me. And that wasn't the point. Now, I was in the area every 2 weeks anyway, and I drive by, and I had the time to go do it, spend a couple, 3 hours every 2 weeks on his farm. And so I think it's up to each individual. Some people may not have that luxury, but I do think, I don't know, there's not a measurable amount. It's so situational. I think the thing to do is to go in with the idea, I'm going to help this person. And I'm going to become an asset to their business, whether I have to do physical labor at their business or whether I have to just spend time getting to know them or whatever. And I think sooner rather than later with that approach, they are going to expose a need where you might say, I have something that I believe can help you. So I don't think it's a matter of, sort of this, like you said, it's kind of a trendy thing, adding value before you ask for the sale or whatever. And I think it's a matter of going in on a very human level, getting to know people and asking them to tell you what it is they need, what they're trying to do, what their goals are. And when they do, and that light bulb comes on, then I think a person can pursue that with passion. It doesn't matter where you are or how much, quote, value you've brought. If they have a need and you can satisfy it, dive right in and tell them that you think you might have something that can help them. I mean, that's our goal in sales, right? Is to serve and help other people. And I think if we stay really simple in that focus, then we don't have to worry too much about some of those metrics.
Yeah. So you actually, or maybe you don't. Let me ask it as a question. Do you friends with your clients or with your prospective clients or customers? Do you think that's a line that you should not cross?
No, it's now I do have clients where it's all business and they don't really care about, my animals and my hobbies and any of those type of things. And that's fine. But I tend to be a pretty friendly guy. And so, and I enjoy that in relationships. I also think there's a loyalty factor there, if you become friends. And I just think it adds so much more meaning to me. The whole thing about the book, Selling by Serving, is that for years, for 30 plus years, I've seen so many salespeople not fulfilled in what they're doing. And, that's my whole purpose with this platform. I'm not here to help someone sell more stuff. I'm here to help someone be more fulfilled in their work and in their life. And selling more stuff, hitting quotas and earning commissions will never bring fulfillment. That's not where fulfillment lives. Fulfillment only lives in being of service to other people. And what I call in the book, the beautiful irony is that if you are immersed in helping others and forget about your quotas, more quotas, commissions, trips to Cabo, and money will flow into your life than if you're chasing it as an end unto itself. But it flows out of that fulfillment. So if I have someone who wants to be friends with me and there's the potential to build a friendship within a business relationship, to me, that's part of the fulfillment I'm going to have. That same dairy producer that I was talking about, that I worked for 18 months after he hired me, and I've been working with him for a couple of years. He hired my wife and I, who are both life coaches as well, to coach his niece, who had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and double mastectomy, radiation treatment, 34-year-old, 2-year-old daughter, full of fear, full of anxiety. And we worked with her as her body healed itself. To this day, she's cancer-free. She's started her own business. She's, been through all the reconstructive surgery. She's just doing great. And I mean, that's the level of meaning that this relationship has. And I just treasure that. I just think there's so much more than just exchanging products or services for money. Now, in certain industries, I think that's less common. And so again, it's situational. But if I have the opportunity to get to know someone, to know their family, to be their friend and be helping, it's so natural for me. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it is for me. I've just seen so many salespeople burn out, get in a rut. I've seen so many young salespeople get overwhelmed trying to learn how to sell, as if there's something really you have to learn about helping people. But when it's method-based, they do, right?
Absolutely.
They get so wrapped up and they're like, okay, now I'm supposed to say this. And is this the open or the closed questions part? And so what they do is just start talking instead of going in with the idea. And that's the other thing that I never, ever allow any of the people that I work with to use is the term cold call. Oh. I mean, come on. How fun does that sound? Come on, Kellen, let's go out and get the cold shoulder for 8 hours. What do you say?
You just gave me
grab a burger and, between. That just sounds like a wonderful day. Cold.
Well, then let me ask you this. How do you prospect? How do you get, are you all referral, or how do you get your next client? Where is that person going to come from?
In my Western Montana beef industry experience, and in Florida in my agronomy business that I built and the dairy, I never had any networks or referrals. I earned everything I had to do on merit. I was not from there. I wasn't a good old boy, and I had to just walk in. So I use the term introductory calls. And I would say to myself, I even had on a sticky note on my mirror at different times in my career, I'm going out today to meet and help people. So the worst that I can do is make a friend. That's the worst that's going to happen. Now that's my job. I'm getting paid to go out and make friends. Now that may sound very Mr. Rogers, but guilty with the Mr. Rogers theme. But it's true. And so when I go in, I truly say, I'm here to meet you. I'd like to learn. And over time, I'd like to begin to tell you about what we do and see if there's the potential for this mutually beneficial business relationship. And 999 times out of 1,000, I'm welcome to come back. Now they may say, I don't have time for you today, or I don't want you here any more than once a month, or whatever it is that I need to respect. But count on one hand in over 30 years the amount of people who have said, no, just don't come back ever. Normally it's like, okay. And that's where it begins. Mm-hmm. And it could take 18 weeks. It could take 18 months. It could take 18 days. I don't know that going in. That's part of the mystery of it. But I'm there to, and then I have to stay pure to those motives and don't pull out the product brochure too soon, and get it edgy. And what makes that possible is what I call massive definitive action. I talk to everybody in my marketplace. When I went down to New Mexico and began to go around and present myself as a dairy nutritionist and I made it a goal to talk to every dairy producer in the state of New Mexico. Now, keep in mind, New Mexico is one of the top 10 dairy states in the country now. All these guys, these Dutch dairymen moved out of California in the 80s, and some of them went to Idaho. A bunch of them went to New Mexico, and it's huge business, and there's a lot of them. But I met every one of them. That's why the subtitle of the book says, Find Fulfillment in Your Career and Sell More Than You Ever Thought Possible. It doesn't say, sell more than you ever thought possible and then become fulfilled. It doesn't work that way. So you bring the fulfillment to everything you do. And by doing that and forgetting about your quotas and commissions and taking massive definitive action, the results will be far greater than if a person's chasing those quotas and commissions. But most importantly, that when money comes to me, I feel like it's a well-earned gift for behaving and conducting myself by a certain set of values. It's what I call inspired income. It has meaning for me. If you're just out chasing quotas, commissions, and money, and you're willing to do things, whatever it takes, be pushy or just be focused on your agenda for hitting your numbers or whatever, when that money comes in, it's what I call hollow dollars. It is not meaningful. It's empty. The feeling of it is empty. But when you're conducting yourself by these values of service and caring and compassion and showing a strong work ethic and willing to do whatever it takes, then when the money comes in, it's like, thank you. It's just the way things work. So yeah, it's very true. And thank you for bringing that up. I don't like to go on about it, Michelle, other than to let people know that, yes, I have credibility doing what I've done. And I encourage anybody that's going to follow anybody in sales training or philosophy or whatever to follow somebody who's been successful himself. I mean, I don't want to take financial advice from a guy that can barely pay the rent.
Right. Right.
You know, I want to take financial advice from a wealthy guy who's taken his money and created wealth with it. Same thing in sales training. You know, a lot of people out there, I think, are just the only thing they've ever sold is their training program, but they haven't been down in the trenches.
Well, that's right.
As both of you know, that's, you know, when you've been down in the trenches, you can look someone in the eye and say, I know what that's like.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit lately. But yeah, guys, his philosophy is certainly proven. So, and I know you don't like to talk about it, but I'm all about talking about how successful you have been. No, really, that's not, you know, you have helped people and it has paid off for everyone. So
that's right. That's right. And as much, you know, financial abundance has come into my life, abundance in every way has come into my life by living this way, in my relationships, in how I feel about my work, in the fulfillment that I just feel that my whole life is on purpose, including my work. It all ties together into one big thing. And that's right. For every dollar I've ever earned, I know that I've earned at least $1 and a penny for my constituents. And that's the value you're talking about. I don't apologize, you know, for having done this business, because I know that what I've done for my clients has made them more money than I've ever taken out of it. I put more into it than I've ever taken out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're helping all of us. All of us. So. Well,
thank you. It helps me to be here, you know, just.
Thank you. And like I said, such a different approach. There's not, you know, the 47.2 method, you know, steps and, you know, here's the flow chart. If this happens, then do that. Yeah. It's genuine and authentic. And
it's easy.
I've used those words before. Yeah.
It's common sense. It's
done this by being Clancy, and it's worked.
That's right. And you know, and everybody needs to do it in their own style. That's a really important point, Michelle. You know, everybody needs to bring what I call their matchless self. You know, nobody can do it exactly how I've done it. They need to do it their own unique way. You run into some interesting stuff in the world of agriculture. And one of the guys, when I was with the company that I worked in, Western Montana, he was like in, I don't know, Nebraska or someplace. And he used to manage a feedlot for cattle. And now he was in the business of selling vitamin and mineral supplements to feedlots for cattle. And, you know, he had the same servant's heart, but he was just kind of a good old country boy that was raised up, you know, on a ranch and then worked in the feedlot. So he didn't have maybe the communication skills that a lot of people in sales have, but his whole sales pitch to the people that he called on, he said, you know, when I was running a feedlot, I fed this and it worked really good for me. And I think it'll work really good for you too. And that was it. Now, how sincere is that? It doesn't have to be.
Because that's what they want. What worked really well? What did it? Yeah.
Yeah, he had credibility and he said, this worked good for me. I'd like you to try it. I think it's going to work good for you too. And people could really respect that.
I get it.
Do you want to elaborate more on the Good Old Boys Network?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's out there, and it's out there in a lot of industries. I've never been a part of it. Like I said, I've never been the most technically knowledgeable about what I do, and that's probably true to this day. I'm much more about knowing where to find all the correct information than having to learn it myself, and like to surround myself with people that, you know, that can help me do that. But also, I've had to learn the technical side of everything I've ever done. You know, the common denominator has been this selling by serving approach. That's the common thing that I took from Montana to Florida to New Mexico, now to this business. You know, this is a business, this platform that I'm building now, and doing, you know, coaching program that just launched, and the platform and some of the things that I'm doing with that and the book. But, you know, so I've learned that part. Any of that can be taught, but the harder thing is that servant's heart. And I've always seen that. I haven't always seen it. Sometimes I kind of wish I was part of the Good Old Boys Network because it seems so easy, you know. But looking back now, I'm so grateful that I never was part of that network for several reasons. Number one is it forced me to do whatever was necessary to earn business on my own merit, not by plugging myself into a network. So I wasn't serving, And I write about this in the Good Old Boys Network chapter of the book. People that are in that, they're really serving the network. They're making sure that they've got a placeholder in there. And then when it's their slot to move up, they're doing that. And the network is almost like a customer for them that they have to serve and take care of. And I've been able to just fully focus on my clients and not being part of the Good Old Boy Network. But it's also forced me to be better at what I do, more effective at helping people, finding a way to rise above all the noise that's out there and let them know that this is a person that they should be interested in spending some time with. And it's been my great advantage, really. There you go. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, that was my little post from a couple of days ago. And I think it's so true, with that passion for serving, not an agenda for earning. And so, yeah, nothing wrong with inheriting an existing book of business. In fact, if you do, you need to care for those customers just as much as the ones you bring on yourself. That would be unethical not to take care of that, but to rely on the Good Old Boys Network or plugging yourself in or all referrals and just trying to do name dropping and whatever. Again, I don't believe fulfillment is possible in doing that. And it can be quite a tiger to hang on to by the tail, to serve that network. Can be pretty demanding.
Okay, let's talk. Are you a product guy? Do you do that? Do you not do that? Where do you stand on that, Clancy?
We're talking about moisturizer now?
We can expand it if you have other, personal care products that you like.
Do you use Chelle?
Men who are really, we had somebody get them out and show it,
collagen.
Yeah. So, I was going to jump right into this, but then I thought, well, then people would leave and not watch the rest of the show because the moisturizer is like the important.
That's like the big
part about all this selling stuff. Now that he's told me the secret to his silky soft skin, I can just bail and go start cooking my chicken breasts or whatever. So yes,
we waited till the end.
All right. I'm going to tell you what. You're talking to a fellow who was born in Arkansas, so pretty simple. I like one product that does a multiple of things. So here it is.
Yes. I love
working hands. All right. Now let me tell you about this. There it is. Look at how lovely that looks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to take a little dab right now and rub it on. Oh, it just feels so good. It smells like Rice Krispies. I love it. And it is. It's the one shot. I think, again, some people get so caught up in too many things and they want this and that. This will heal your cracked skin. This will moisturize. It will emulsify. It will exfoliate. In a pinch, you can seal a leaky window, an air drafty window with it. If you need to, you can glue back on one of your acrylic fingernails and you can patch a leak in your fishing boat. So I love the fact that it's got a lot of utility and it needs to be in every Michael Kors bag and in every tackle box in America.
Because really, what more could you ask from a product than that?
I know, right? You can just see the quality of this, right? Can't you? Look, it doesn't even drip out. It's
lovely.
I love it. And we got a demo. Clancy.
You don't need any WD-40 anymore. Just rub a little O'Keeffe's working hands on there and you'll free those frozen bolts up in no time.
I'm going to buy a case.
So that's my spiel on moisturizer. Yeah. My favorite shampoo is Dial soap. I take the bar and rub it on my head. And,
no, you do not.
Yeah, it's soap. What do you think shampoo is? Shampoo is mostly water and then some soap, and they put in some, lavender, smelly stuff or whatever. Yeah.
And Teresa Silcox just, I don't know if she just joined, but just commented. I know she's dying.
There is key. Yes,
skincare diva, and oh wow. So no hair products, just the Dial soap, the bar, right?
That's what I do. Yeah, I do use shampoo sometimes, but it would be like Head and Shoulders or something.
Teresa's going to be on our show next week. So we're going to have her talk about your recommendation, Clancy.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
totally working for him.
Yeah.
That's why I say, you know, you don't wash your hair with a bar of Dial soap, but he's got great hair. It's working. So,
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And like, who'd have thought? Wait, somebody used Crisco
on their face, yeah.
But
on
the
their face.
coconut lady, well, not the coconut lady, the lady that uses coconut oil. Like I said, it works. I mean, I feel like 10 years younger.
Do you really? I'm going to get some because, you know, it's all starting to really.
Well, remember how I told you I did one of those masks that was supposed to moisturize your face, and I put it on, and within a minute it fell off because it sucked in all the moisture because my face was so dry. So we did the test, last night, and it didn't fall off.
After the coconut oil. And that is that solid white stuff that comes in a jar.
Yeah.
It's solid.
You know, another problem.
Try O'Keeffe's hand cream. What?
Well, another problem is if I'm laying down and the dogs can get to me, they all attack my face because they like the coconut.
Yeah, lard. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
It was kind of dangerous.
Them pugs going after the lard. There's how you train them. Right? You just put lard wherever you want them to go, little dab of lard. And
I don't want them on my face.
And you'll get them to jump right in. Now, I see that Eric Bam over here says he's wearing bedazzled pants. Yeah. And I thought that was fabulous.
And you know what? He's not lying.
He's not lying.
He's not lying.
Because he's trying to make me snort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that had all the hair products, too. I think he used, what did he use? Like Harry's? Was it Harry's he used?
I think it was Harry's Shave Club.
Yeah, but you know what?
I got to tell you, I'm just that simple. That's my hand product. That's it. I use Speed Stick deodorant, and those are the only products I use. I just smell like I smell. Whatever that is what you're going to get. You know, this is my this is probably kind of formal wear here. This shirt, and I have my casual jeans, the lighter ones, and then I have my formal jeans, the darker ones. If I ever get invited to the White House, I'll be there in jeans. I promise you. And that's
the dark ones, right? The dark ones.
The dark ones, for sure. And I might let somebody iron my shirt, but I do not own a tie. I do not own I
don't own a tie either.
Suit. Yeah, you know. And so, you know, I think there's some real importance in that because truly, I mean, when I get up to speak to people, I dress like I'm dressing now. Whatever crowd it is or whatever, I'm like, it would be so inauthentic of me to put on a suit and tie. Number one, I'd probably have butterflies in my stomach being so uncomfortable dressed that way. It's just not. Now, my late brother, was just the opposite. He was an attorney. He was a clothes horse. He was a city guy. And, you know, he had a closet full of those things. But, you know, I just figured if I'm going to be up there, they're going to see who Clancy Clark really is, you know. And I think that's important for all of us to show everybody, but in this case, our customers that we work with as sales professionals, who we really are. And because everybody has a great story. Everybody has their genius area and everybody has those qualities that make them unique. And I think to try and, again, that's why I dislike sales methods because it tries to make everybody act the same and you know, sort of conform to the same set of rules. And like the guy I was talking about that was very kind of shy and quiet, he could help people just as effectively as I could, who, you know, much more talkative and much more animated. So there's no right salesperson's personality. Anybody is capable of helping another human being. And I think that's important. You know, bring yourself to it. Be yourself. If you like being silly and goofing around, do that like we've done here today. If you know, if you're more serious and just a person of a lot fewer words, then embrace that. There you go. Pensive. Victor Hugo. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's you know, we're joking about it, but there's really a bunch of important, profound truth in that, to just be your authentic self. And I think, you know, nobody's going to be Michelle better than Michelle. And there's nothing that Michelle will ever be better than Michelle. And so why not just embrace that and say, this is who I am, take me as I am, and lean into it. And I have found that as long as you have that servant's heart, the whole marketplace will respond to that in a very positive way.
That was worth the price of admission.
It was. It was. You are a wise man.
I'm glad.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but thank you.
No, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Absolutely.
It's my pleasure.
All kinds of gems in the episode tonight. So thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to say here in closing? Anything you want to leave us with?
You know, I would just say to anybody who is watching this now live or is going to watch it, as a recorded show, please, if there's anything I can do for you, I would love to hear from you. You can go to my website, www.clancyclark.cc, and there's a little contact Clancy there. It goes right to my email that I check every day. And if there's anything I can do for any of you, it would be my pleasure to hear from you. I love that. And this thing about helping and serving others is a true passion for me. So if there's anything I can do for anyone, please feel free to reach out with that form that Bruce just popped up there for us. Thank you, Bruce. And I would love to hear from you. If you're on LinkedIn, please find me there. That's where I do. That's really the only place that I'm real engaged in social media. I like LinkedIn a lot. So reach out to me there. If there's anything I can do to help anybody, I'd love to.
Clancy Clark, thank you.
Thank you.
You have just cemented my fangirlhood, and I'm sure you've gotten more tonight. So thank you. This has just been such a fun episode. Again, my apologies for my technical difficulties.
No problem.
But you know what? I made it through to the end here. So
thank you so much for having me. And thanks to everybody over here, Randy, Cynthia, Teresa, Eric. Who else do we got here?
Yeah,
Jim. Everybody that was there and made comments and listened to us blabber away today. Thank you so much. I hope you found value in it, and it's really been a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, it's been fun too.
Our pleasure. I mean, I'm so excited to finally meet you, like kind of in person. And if you guys all like what you heard today, please remember to subscribe and share. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay and let us know what you thought. And if you have a question, contact Clancy direct. He's happy to help you out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, thank you to our two sponsors, Blue Sky Video Productions and Cards That Wow. And thank you again to Clancy Clark, writer of probably one of the best-selling books I've ever read.
Oh, thank you.
I've ever read.
Absolutely. It's
Seriously.
real. It's real.
And we appreciate you being here. And for next week, we have
Teresa
Silcox. She's awesome. We're going to love her.
She is awesome. Love her.
So thanks. Have a great night. Sorry, I kind of took over, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.